Meanwhile, back at the inquiry...
Consistently, almost obstinately relied.
Silver's escaped. Bond's in pursuit. We need to get you to a secure location immediately, Mom.
I'm never gonna show my back.
I feel so bad for Tanner in these scenes. It's just like, you know, he's just like, someone's gonna come in with a gun, we need to go. But at the same time, you know, maybe you should have just grown a pair of balls and been like, no, come on, love, we're going. This whole chase on the underground is amongst my favourite sequences in all of Bond. It's so thrilling and exciting, and it's really nice to see Bond actually in London having action sequences around familiar London landmarks. It brings Bond to Britain, and I love it, just like I love it in The World Is Not Enough.
I do hope that wasn't for me.
No. But that is.
Wow, Silver sure did plan this whole thing very well. Like, incredibly well, actually. Like, he knew the time that the tube was gonna be coming. Well, okay, you know what, it's a Bond film, I'll go with it. Meanwhile, back at the inquiry, M starts reading poetry and Tanner continues to sweat. I really wish we could hear Tanner's inner thoughts in these bits. I imagine it'd be something like, oh, for fuck's sake, now she's reading poetry. Just hurry up, woman, I'm trying to save your bloody life. I haven't mentioned Thomas Newman's score yet, but the piece of score that plays while M is reading Tennyson and Bond is running out of the underground is so epic. It could well be the most epic piece of music to ever be in a Bond film. This doesn't happen often for me anymore, but these whole sequences really got me into the world of the film. Sometimes you'll be in the cinema and for a few moments I think you can just feel everything else around you disappearing and you have no other thought process other than what you're directly seeing, and everything else literally does melt away, and you're in it, you're in the film, you're experiencing it, and nothing else is in your mind. And that's what this section did for me. I really felt like I was in this film, and when Silver bursts into that inquiry room... Silver and his men burst into the inquiry room. It's Mallory who jumps over his desk and runs to the other side of the room to protect M when Tanner is sat right next to her. And what does he do? Hides under his desk. Great chief of staff there, loyal to the end. To be fair to the guy though, actually, I guess he did try to warn her. It's like he's thinking, I'm not dying for you all because you had to read your damn poetry. Though he does eventually get her under the desk, I guess. Now, I just love this whole inquiry shootout. We have Bond, M, Tanner, Moneypenny, the main villain, and the new M, all in one room for an action sequence. That is something that has never happened in any other Bond film. I really like it when a Bond film does something new and different with these familiar characters. I like seeing these long-running characters and situations that I'm not used to seeing them in. And I love the moment when Bond winks at Mallory. It's so great. Bond saves the day, of course, and Silver flees while Tanner rushes M to a safe vehicle. And he doesn't even try running after the car! For all he knows, it could be Silver driving that car. He want M dead in this film or something. I mean, does he feel like if she's out of the way, he'll finally get that promotion? But no, it's not Silver, it's Bond who decides, along with M's consent, to get her out of the city and away from innocent people. But first they need to transfer to a vehicle without a tracking device.
Oh, oh God, oh, yes, 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 oh.
Now's probably a really good time to talk about something I've heard a lot of people complain about, and that is why Bond takes M to Skyfall when there are hardly any weapons there and no one else is around to help. Okay, so Bond didn't know that there wasn't going to be any guns there. He thought they still had the gun room. And the reason he takes M somewhere so secluded is because, like M says herself, too many people are dying because of her. You could give her a dozen security men and Silver would still find a way to kill them all to get to her. So they wanted to draw him away from a populated area. Besides, going to Skyfall fits with the whole old versus new themes of the film and that. Right? We got that sorted? Good. Right, let's continue. Bond and M arrive at Skyfall, the Bond family homestead in Scotland, where they are met by Kincaid, the gamekeeper, played by Albert Finney, who gives Bond his father's old hunting rifle. Bond, M and Kincaid then ready the lodge with booby traps before Silver gets there. Amidst all this montage, I just want to point out a couple of shots of M that we see here that really break my heart. You know, they're really quite simple. It's just her looking out of the window to the gate, but you know from the expression on her face and the look in her eyes that she is terrified, but trying to keep it all together. I think it's a great bit of acting from Judi Dench. We have one more quiet moment with Bond and M where she solidifies her status as the most foul-mouthed person in a Bond film since Mrs. Bell.
I fucked this up, didn't I?
Holy shit.
Before Silver's men arrive. Oh god, not the car, 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 anything but the car. Seriously, take the old woman, take anything you want, just please don't hurt the car, not 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 the car. Well, it's just a couple of bullet holes, I guess. It's nothing that can't be repaired. Bond, M and Kincaid put up a good fight at Skyfall, and we have some great one-liners in these scenes.
Welcome to Scotland.
You're dead! Give up, or you're thirsty for more?
It's nice to see M get in on a bit of the action here too, even if she is wounded by one of Silver's men. Silver himself makes quite an entrance in a helicopter before he starts throwing grenades in the house. M and Kincaid use an old priest hole to get out, while Bond valiantly fights off Silver and begins rigging the place to blow. Not the car, 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 the car, not 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 the As traumatizing as it is to see the Aston Martin blown to smithereens like that, I do love the reaction it gets from Bond. It's just like, That's it, you can kill a Bond girl, you can try and kill them, but blow up my DB5, and now I fucking had it. After a brilliantly character-defining line from Bond,
I always hated this place.
Skyfall goes up in flames after Silver's helicopter crashes into it, and then Silver spies M and Kincaid's torchlight in the distance. Yeah, it's kind of stupid that they kept the torch on when they're meant to be avoiding detection, but I mean, you know, they're old, they need to see where they're treading. If they fall over, you know, they can die. Anyway, Silver heads after them and Bond heads after Silver, getting into a really cool underwater fight with a henchman before Silver meets M and Kincaid at the Skyfall Chapel, passing the family plot, pausing at the grave of Andrew and Monique Bond. Ha! Where's your codename theory now, you fucking cretins? Anyway, the scene that follows is one of the most disturbing of any Bond film, and the performances of Bardem and Dench here are phenomenal. Dench in particular for me, there's something about her understated fear that I really love. Like, you can tell that she's terrified. She has never been more scared in her life, but she's trying to keep it together. She's trying not to give anything away, but it's just cracking through. She can't keep the fear covered completely. Fortunately enough for her, though, Bond shows up and throws a knife in Silver's back, killing him. I'm okay with this. It fits with the whole old versus new theme, and I like that this technological genius and mastermind is taken down with a simple hunting knife. But as far as a final confrontation goes, it is a little bit weak, isn't it? Just a bit of a fight, or a bit of a chase, or something, a hostage situation, something, anything, just to give this final confrontation a bit of a kick. But as it stands, it's satisfying enough, and we get a scene now that, well, you know what, Vesper dying I can handle, Tracy dying I can handle, but for me this is the saddest moment in a Bond film ever. Judi Dench's M dies. Now, before everyone starts nailing me to a cross for this, hear me out, please. Vesper and Tracy are characters we know for one film, and one film only. Their deaths are very sad, but Judi Dench has been M for 7 films, and on a personal level for me, she's the only character who's been in every single Bond film since I started being a Bond fan. She's the only actor who's been in every single Bond film that I've seen in the cinema, and to know that she's not going to be in anymore is kind of sad for me. I really love this character. I love what they did with her, and sad as it is that they kill her off, you know what, I'm glad that we practically had a whole film, more or less, to serve as her send-off. R.I.P. M.